Welcome back to Rapid Tech in 10, where we give you tech-related takeaways in 10 minutes or less. I am your SoftwareOne host, Brie LeMay, and joining us today, we have Aries Webb-Williams, Senior Consultant Client Experience at SoftwareOne. Welcome to Rapid Tech in 10, Aries.
Thank you for having me, Brie. I love hanging out with you.
Yes, same. So excited we could do this. It's amazing.
Yes.
And for all of our viewers and listeners, Aries recently published an article on LinkedIn with an emphasis on the importance of ensuring the retention of women in the tech industry. Aries, before we chat further on this topic, I have a couple questions. I always start with an icebreaker. You know you have a great answer for this one, so I thought it was a perfect segue into this conversation. When you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up?
So I told you about a letter I wrote myself when I was 17 that I was supposed to open 10 years later. And it was 20 years later when I actually opened it, which I'm glad because I don't know if I had accomplished the things that I had put in there. But I said that I wanted to work in computers, which is what we called it in 1996. And
Yes,
I
you
just
did.
said, I don't know what kind of computers, but I know I'm going to work at computers, So that was what I was into. I loved tinkering around with the, computer that my mom had brought home. And so here I am in
I
computers.
love it. And there's maybe a chance you have that letter on you. Do you want to share a little bit of it?
Sure, I'll share. I'll share the paragraph about the job, right? So
Yeah.
I said that I was going to get my master's degree, which I did do. And I said I will get a very good paying job in computers. I'm not sure what type of computer job just yet, but whatever it is, I'll be making a lot of money. I was very poor back then too, so it could have been anything. I would have said it was a lot of money back in those days.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love how serendipitous that outcome was too. It's amazing.
Yes, yes.
Apparently my dog was super excited to hear it too. And thank you for sharing that with our audience.
Yeah.
I do want to go back to your published article though, because I think it resonated with a lot of women and a lot of men in general. You highlight some extremely important topics, and I want to start with some eye-opening statistics, right? So it said that women make up only 27% of the tech workforce. And it was really eye-opening, honestly, to see that only 3% were Black women. So in your article, you touch on more than 50% of these women are likely to quit before the age of 35, and 56% are likely to quit by mid-career. Can you talk a little bit about this and what organizations can do to change some of these statistics?
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're in tech, you can visibly see it, right? It's just one of those things that I think women coming into the workforce later in the game, obviously we're playing catch up, but also some of us are just not um getting the support that we would need to be welcomed into this field. It's a very male dominated industry, right? So any male dominated industry, you're going to, feel isolated. And sometimes women just feel like, you know what, it's not enough of me here. So I'm going to go do something else.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as that, right? So that in the article, I talk about companies diversifying their recruitment, bringing more people in, but not just that, supporting the women when they get there. We got to have a system in place so that if we're recruiting women, Black people, people of color, whatever it is that underrepresented, from an underrepresented community, then we need the support to be there as well. That's going to come from educating the leaders of that organization and making sure they know how to manage diverse populations, right? Do they
Yeah.
have the experience to do that? Have they been exposed to different environments where they can have those healthy relationships with people, and also mentoring and sponsorship and things like that, promoting women. I think we do a really great job of that at SoftwareOne. This is probably one of the places where I see a lot of women, more than I've probably seen in other organizations that I've been a part of. But and we don't have it perfect either, right? We are really adamant about making that change, and we have leaders that support it and push it. So we're making those steps. And so I think it's all about just taking a step. Let's just start with a step.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of it. Make the step and then just continue to build upon that. And it will I think it makes a big difference. A lot of times just seeing yourself in the room can make a huge impact. I know for me, I see that we have, our president for our sales organization, our North America president is a woman. So I'm already seeing representation there, right? And then we have women on our board of directors, Black woman, a Black woman on our board of directors now. So for me, I'm like, oh, yay, that's the cherry on
Yeah.
top for me as a Black woman in this space. So we can't disregard how important that is, and that is motivating. But also, companies can start partnering with other community organizations. Here in Dallas, we have DFW Alliance of Technology and Women, which I'm the former president of, and we've supported, SoftwareOne has supported that organization for years now. And so that is another pipeline, right, of talent. When you're
Mhm.
supporting other women's groups or other underrepresented groups, you're going to be connecting with that actual community. It's not just, hey, let me throw these applications out there and put up a job board, a job posting on LinkedIn. It is saying we're actually there with these folks. We're telling them what type of talent we need here in our organization. And then when they apply, that's just another area that we have more of a diverse pipeline to pull from when we're looking for people to work at the organization. So,
Yeah, that's an
yeah.
amazing answer. And you mentioned it starts with a step. I want to take this a step further. There's a lot of talk these days around imposter syndrome. So as you're
Yes.
working, to diversify, you're working to take all these steps up in your career. Being confident as a woman in the workplace and even in tech, it's really difficult. So I'd love to hear your takeaways and thoughts on a few things women can do to develop and maintain confidence. Could be professionally or personally, or a little mix of both.
Yes, I've dealt with that. I came into the workforce at around, I'll say, in the corporate space, about 18, 19 years old. So while I was in college, I was working full time as well. And I came in just bubbly. I feel like I can do anything. Like I'm smart. Like I had all the confidence in the world. And coming into male dominated spaces, it started knocking me down very quickly because I would be, mansplained over. And then also being younger, right? You're gonna older coworkers and older, leaders are gonna look at you like, okay, like you're a kid, so we're not really gonna give you that. So I started kind of being more quiet and not feeling like I knew what I was talking about, even though I did. So it comes first, I would say, a self-awareness, right? And recognizing those feelings and then knowing that they're common. Like a lot of us deal with it. It's not just a woman thing. It's a lot of people that can feel that, and it's not necessarily a reflection of your true ability, right? It is
Mm,
just, let's just get aware of that first. And then for me, I'm all about affirmations. I'm a vision board person. I'm one of those people that love like personal professional development. So I'm going to do a lot of self-talk. I put a lot of positive self-talk in my head. I have post-it notes with, affirmations and things like that on my mirror. And so you have to reframe those thoughts so that you can counteract imposter syndrome, right? Instead of like focusing on these negative things, like highlight what, oh no, I am smart. Like I know this. I know my
yeah.
stuff, right? So those are things that you have to start saying every single day so that you can remind yourself of who you are, which leads kind of into that part of making sure your skills are on point, right? When you know your stuff, can't nobody tell you anything. Like if I know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, then you can't make me feel any kind of way about, what I'm saying. I know I have validated proof that I know what I'm saying. So just work on those skills and make sure that'll help build your confidence as well. I would also say building a supportive network, right? Another reason I joined women's groups and WIC groups around, all over. It helps. These are supportive people, they're positive, they're on the same page as you, they're going to give you the encouragement, and it's a safe space, right? You can find
Mm,
mentors. There's so many things you could do there. I could talk about this stuff all day, girl.
I love it. No, those are
Especially when it comes to
amazing.
confidence, I think it's big. I think, taking care of yourself, making sure you got your self-care on point. celebrate your wins, be around those people who love to support you and celebrate you, because that'll help you see it, right? We'll move from one thing to the next and forget that we did all these amazing things and we don't acknowledge them, right? So we need to make sure that all those little things, that we are documenting them. I have a little brag book that I only, just for
Yes.
myself. So when I go in and say, oh, you did that. Oh, wow, I forgot I did that, and it just helps, and then I would just say, be your authentic self, right? I am an advocate for this authentic self movement, because I will say that coming into SoftwareOne, and this is just a real story, y'all. Go read my article. I don't know if I really got in depth about it, but I have had toxic workplaces. I've had places that have really made me feel not great about the experience, right? But when my confidence is on point, then I know it's not a personal thing, right? And me walking into the door at SoftwareOne, I was like, I'm gonna walk in as myself. I'm not big on assimilating. I'm big on sharing who I am with the environment that I'm in, right? And I feel that doing that, and this is really the first place that I've really walked in saying, I don't care. I'm going to be me. I got my braids. I got my, it's just so many little stigmas that can really, hold you up. And so I would say that it has been welcomed. I feel
Yeah.
like it's me allowing my coworkers to experience me and my true self. And that really, um, is another way to build your confidence. So I think it's a personal journey. You got to figure out what works for you, obviously. But just don't make it a small thing. Make it a priority and be proactive with your confidence building. Like
Yeah.
it's a very important thing.
Yeah. I think our thoughts become our reality, right?
Hmm.
What you say, you
Yeah.
become. Aries, it's always such a pleasure. I could talk to you all day. Really appreciate you joining us today. And a big, big thanks to all of you for tuning in to SoftwareOne's Rapid Tech in 10. To read Aries' full article, you can visit the link in our comments and let us know what resonated with you. From your friends in Tech at SoftwareOne, thanks for watching.
Thanks for having me.